Over the last few months, I've been building a few indicators for my own trading, and I decided to share them in case others find them useful too. This is the Smart Risk Reward tool, and it lets you quickly draw risk and reward levels directly on the chart in a few different ways. The first and probably most common way I use it is by measuring the risk and reward based on a bar's high and low. If I hold in Shift and click above a bar, it will set up the risk-reward levels for a long trade. Which levels are shown can be configured in the settings. The entry is placed just above the high of the bar, and the stop loss goes just below the low. For short trades, it's the same idea. If I hold in Shift and click below a bar, it will place the entry just below the low and the stop loss just above the high. By default, there's a 1-tick offset on the stop loss, but you can change that in the settings. You can also adjust the entry offset if you want to simulate a stop order entry 1 tick from the high or low of the bar. Now sometimes I don't want to use the full range of the bar. In that case, I hold in Shift and click inside the bar. If I click near the top of the bar, it will treat it as a long setup and place the entry at the close of the bar instead. If I click near the bottom, it does the same for a short. The stop loss is still placed at the high or low of the bar, since that usually makes more sense from a structure point of view. There's also an option if I want to base the stop on a swing instead of just the bar itself. If I hold Control and click, the tool will still place the entry at the bar, but now it will try to position the stop loss at the most recent swing. This isn't always perfect, since it depends on how clear the swing is, but in most cases it works well. One more thing worth mentioning: if you click on the current bar, the tool will update the levels live as the bar forms, and once the bar closes, it locks in place and stays attached to that bar. So overall, you've got a few different ways to quickly map out a trade, using the full bar, the body, or the surrounding structure. And once it's drawn, you instantly get a clear visual of your risk and your potential reward. Alright, let's take a quick look at the settings, starting with the line settings. Here you can adjust both the stop offset and the entry offset, depending on how you place your orders. For example, if you're using stop orders, you might want to add a 1-tick offset to the entry line. You can also control how long the lines extend on the chart. Below that, you can choose which risk-reward levels you want to display. For example, 0.5R, 1R, 2R, 3R, and so on. You can also customize the look of the lines, things like width, style, and colors for the entry, stop, and target lines. Next is the label section. Here you can choose whether to show labels on the lines and how they should be aligned. You can display the R levels, as well as point values, tick values, or dollar values depending on what you prefer. There's also an option to use micro-contract values if you're trading MES, even when you're looking at a standard ES chart. Fonts and colors can all be adjusted so you can match it to your chart style. Then we have the fill settings. This is where you can add background color between your entry and stop, and between your entry and targets. It's a simple way to visually separate risk and reward. You can adjust the opacity to keep it subtle, and choose your own colors for both sides. Next are the midlines. These are optional guide levels like 33%, 50%, and 66%. I personally like using the 50% level as a quick reference, especially if I'm looking to enter on a pullback. But you can also enable the upper third and lower third levels. Under interaction, there's an option to draw everything behind the bars. This just keeps the chart a bit cleaner if you don't want the lines overlapping your candles. And finally, under advanced settings, you can adjust how the swing detection works. This controls how the tool finds swing highs and lows when using the control click option. If you increase the strength, it will look for more significant swings. If you lower it, it will react to smaller moves. That's pretty much it for the settings. If you want to try it out yourself, you can download it for free from my website. And if you found this useful, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, or drop a comment if you have any questions or suggestions.